Hi, I'm Alan Martin, and this is my presentation on digital and social media marketing in business education, implications for the marketing curriculum in Scotland. As this is a digital marketing presentation regarding a problem facing an organisation, the application of a framework to base this upon is necessary, so Chaffee and Ellis Chadwick's SAW-stack planning framework has been applied. So where are we now? The issue of digital marketing in business education and the associated implications for the marketing curriculum for not just only Scotland but universally have been the subject of both research and debate since as early as 2011. In 2015, Crittenden and Crittenden, in their paper Digital and Social Media Marketing in Business Education, Implications for the Marketing Curriculum, identified that from 2011 the Journal of Marketing Education was already focusing on the digital revolution and its impact on the business education. It also highlights the important interdependency between government, business and educational establishments in terms of communication, development and funding. Like any marketing problem, an initial frame of reference would be to conduct a situation analysis using environmental scanning techniques of the external and internal factors influencing business education. Using firstly a PESTEL framework developed from the work of Francis J. Aguilar and others from the late 1960s onwards, we can look at the various political, economical, social, technological, legal and environmental factors that influence higher education in Scotland. These results have been compiled from a survey data collected from over 100 senior higher education executives. Political factors include changes in funding from government to higher education institutions, uncertainty as a result of the Brexit process, future changes to government policy, immigration regulation on international student recruitment, and economic factors which include decreasing numbers of international and EU students, competition from the workplace apprenticeships from companies like KPMG, increasing staff costs, increasing inter-establishment competition, and the need to invest in IT and estates, the need to manage investment projects and a reduction in student fees, a rise in the cost of borrowing and the availability of lending. Social factors include the need to meet student expectations, the need to meet academic and quality standards, reputational damage done through poor portrayal of sector in particular funding, an increased focus on the monetary value of degrees. Technological factors include the need to effectively manage information and cyber security, rapid changes in delivery methods including distance learning and virtual classrooms, the speed of change of technology and the impact upon the curriculum. Legal factors include future changes in government policy, immigration regulation on international student recruitment, non-compliance with visa regulations and loss of Tier 4 status. Environmental factors include growing pressure to reduce environmental impact and waste. Bringing this within the institutions themselves, an analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, commonly known as a SWOT, that face individual institutions can then be conducted. The technique dates back from the 1960s and is accredited to Albert Humphrey and is useful as a business review tool. Strengths include awareness of educators who are trying to mould the curriculum to keep pace with technological and industry changes, a desire to engage students and make them work ready, an awareness of the importance of working with employers to develop strategies to influence the curriculum. Weaknesses include the pace of academic change is slow at senior level. There's uncertainty over future funding, greater inter-university competition for resources which revolve around financial competition for fees, research funding and central funding. There's a central cap on student numbers and the rules on fees do not support creative management of student intake. Student engagement opportunities include increasing links to businesses to develop new ways of learning, e.g. apprenticeship degrees and remote learning. A review of policies for the changes in student numbers, so charge less and accept more. Develop strategies to increase governmental support for HE providers. Threats include Brexit and the potential damage to programmes like Erasmus, reputational damage from above, further increased competition within the market for scarce resources, inflexible government view on HE providers, alternative learning methods, for example apprenticeship degrees. As alluded to earlier, it is important to understand the relationship between government, business and higher education institutions, as there is evidence of a period of significant change to the way these interactions are occurring. In their 2011 paper, Helm and Hellenson identified that through increased globalisation, there is a growing pressure for governments to enable society and businesses to cope with global changes. Education is seen as being key to delivery of these changes. They created their triple helix model showing these linkages and the citizen or user central to the mechanic and the changes in perceived state required to allow this metamorphosis to happen. This model gives an excellent framework to move to the next phase of the process of objective setting. So where do we want to be? Usually when defining objectives, the opportunity section of the SWOT analysis provides a window into objectives to be set. However, if we are superimposing the Helm and Hellenson 2011 model, this process becomes more straightforward. With the addition of the research findings of Crittenden and Crittenden from 2015, we can develop some potential objectives. For the purpose of this paper, the objectives set out in this presentation are aimed at the HE institutions, as this is where it is likely to have most resonance. However, there are implications from this research for businesses and governments alike. There are four main objectives derived from the research as follows. The marketing curriculum, the what. Work closely with digital and social marketing practitioners on creating a continuously relevant curriculum. Student engagement, the how. Improve student engagement through use of platforms and providers such as experiential learning, social and developing technologies. A focus on innovation and how to maximise its potential is at the centre of the curriculum. Commercial engagement. Develop and foster close industry ties to understand how to deliver work-ready graduates. Work placements, on-the-job learning, apprenticeship degrees and sandwich courses all have a role. Governmental engagement. Continue to work with the state partners to move from the current command and control position to see education with greater flexibility and self-regulation. Although not exhaustive, these represent the key findings from the academic research into the issues highlighted previously. How can we get there? Well, many of the communication frameworks to deliver these objectives already exist. For example, the National Centre for Universities and Businesses is an existing forum that strategically links HE institutions and commerce. In Scotland, the Advanced Learning and Science Directorate links government to education. In addition, the Student Partnership in Quality Scotland, or SPARKS, gives HE institutions and students a dedicated point of interface. These organisations variously provide avenues for HE institutions, businesses and government and their customers, the mechanic, to communicate and interact, and it is that communication and interaction that is critical to the achievement of the objectives set out above. So how exactly would we get there? Academics are arguing for a digital-first approach. Raumetal in 2018 making the case that marketing education is struggling to keep pace with the changing and influential digital and social marketing practices. However, if the objective of the three main bodies of the interaction are scrutinised, then this gives a better understanding of if their objectives could be aligned to achieve those highlighted above. The National Centre for Universities and Businesses work focuses on the following core aims: to develop, support and promote world-class collaboration between universities and businesses across the UK, to bring together universities and businesses to influence government and solve the country's challenges, to harness the talent developed within the UK's universities to the benefit of the national economy, and to develop vigorous, vibrant and productive partnerships that develop graduates and create innovative products and systems. The Advanced Learning and Science Directorate focuses on developing the young workforce and tackling youth unemployment, maintaining access to higher education based on the ability to learn and not the ability to pay, creating the educational workforce required to help drive sustainable economic growth, and championing science and the use of scientific advice to inform policy making. Also realising the benefits of college regionalisation. Spark's work focuses on supporting students to engage at all levels in enhancing their educational experience, supporting the development of practices and activities in institutions and their students' associations that encourage and support student engagement. To support student engagement with national sector agencies and policy developments, and supporting the development of a culture of student engagement across Scotland. The details of tactics, who does what and when. It can be seen that all three organisations have got similar goals in mind. Some are far more clearly aligned than others, for example Sparks and student engagement. However, these are definitely organisations that are central to the delivery of a fit-for-purpose digital and social marketing educational framework, and certainly for Scotland. It seems that in order to meet the objectives set out above, the critical factor in getting these influencing bodies to get together and start to develop a national and uniform strategy and approach which could be applied to any curriculum in Scotland. Although applicable to digital and social media marketing, it appears that in bringing these three bodies together, the improvements could be made to the entire educational system. Interorganisational communication seems to be at the heart of the issue, and in researching this presentation, there was little evidence of these bodies working in any collaborative way. Yet, if we refer back to the triple helix model, there is extensive evidence that the success of all three is interdependent. The other key point to note from the model is that it is almost cyclical in nature. It indicates that these issues in terms of digital and social media marketing and business, education, indeed education in general, will continue to evolve. What is important is that a robust structure is put in place to respond rapidly to this dynamic market, to ensure that future graduates are work ready and educated with practical skills and capabilities, as well as theoretical knowledge to deliver maximum return on investment for all parties concerned. So how do we monitor performance? There are metrics already in place to measure whether or not the objectives set out above are being achieved. These include the percentage of graduates going on to either employment or further study, the ranking of universities in the National Student Survey, a great metric of engagement, the level of research funding secured, the position on the international table of world university rankings from the Times Educational Supplement, the number of businesses and higher educational institutional collaborations, for example knowledge transfer programs, internships, work placements, apprenticeship degrees. Clearly these would need to be agreed by all the parties involved as, in order to deliver the objectives, cooperation would be critical. So conclusions and recommendations. In a time when higher education is becoming increasingly affected by the globalisation, it is critical that the relationship between government, HE institutions, businesses and end users, students and employees alike, focus their attention on delivering the best quality education in not only digital and social media marketing and business education, but in education as a whole. This means working together to get the best output, both academic and in terms of research and development. Collaboration from organisations discussed previously seems to be fundamental to this being achieved. So a fully referenced copy of this presentation is available here, and the references are here and here. Thanks for your attention.